Hello, Scott.
Hello, Rebecca.
How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good.
Is this the real Scott Hardy?
I think so.
Okay, because there's this.
I can't be 100% sure.
Well,
Sorry.
I hope that this is you. Well, there's this funny word out there called doppelganger.
Doppelganger.
What is a doppelganger?
It's someone that's not related to you
Mhm.
that looks like you.
Okay.
So, and they say, whoever they
Whoever
are,
they
in
are.
quotes.
They say a lot of things.
That's right.
Mhm.
That we can get into that later. But they say that everyone has at least one doppelganger. That's someone that looks like you.
Have you ever met yours?
I don't think so.
Well, you keep this little folder on your Facebook of pictures, and it's people that look like people.
Yeah, I call it famous peeps.
Yeah.
And I started this, I think, in 2012, maybe 10 or 11 years ago.
Mhm.
I was down the street of New York, and this really old man walked by, and from the side, he looked like Harrison Ford.
I don't think Harrison Ford's gonna like that you saw the really old man just now.
He is now. In 2012, not so much,
Uh-huh.
but now he's pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, this guy was like older than Harrison. Like he
Okay.
looked like Harrison, but even older. So I
Yeah.
thought it was funny. So I started with 2012. And I do it like when I see people, and even when we're out together, I'll pretend I'm taking a picture of you so I can take a picture of someone else
Somebody who
behind
looks
you.
like somebody famous.
Right.
Yeah.
So just some of the funny ones. I get a lot of Johnny Depps. I see a lot of Johnny Depps around.
Mm-hmm.
We did one where it was, oh, I'm trying to find that one real quick. I've done like Penn and Teller. I've done there's a guy that looks like Robert Downey Jr. that was in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Just really
And
funny
now
stuff.
people send them to you.
Well, yeah, now
some people will send them to you.
They'll like DM me and say, "Hey, does this look like this person?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, yeah."
And the other thing that happens is sometimes you confuse people because they're like, "Did you see Johnny Depp?"
Right. I'll say Johnny Depp, and they don't read my hashtags, which is people who look like people.
Hashtags are important, people.
So yeah, yeah, they are very important. I think hashtags are important. So I've done like Rhett and Link, who we've talked about before. I saw Rhett one day. John Williams, saw him in Utah.
Yeah.
Like just crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're kind of all about it. You tend to like try to, you're always on the lookout.
Well, and I think we both are. We both kind of go, oh, that person looks like this person. Yeah. We've done that forever.
Well, we usually say if so-and-so and so-and-so had a baby,
right,
it would be this person. Yeah. Sometimes it's
turned into that now.
Nice mashup.
Yeah. So we were talking about it like doppelgangers for you and me, and I've never really, I can't think of anyone very unique, I guess. You
cannot be replicated.
That's right. But you were saying as you were growing up, there's a couple people that people said you look like.
When I was younger, and so look at this face, my skinnier face. When I was younger, they would say Daryl Hannah.
Okay.
She was in Splash with Tom Hanks. She was a mermaid. That's her most well-known. And I think also she was, I don't know, she wasn't in that, I don't think. I don't remember what else she was in. But the other thing that most recently, and I still just every once in a while will hear this one, and that's Trisha Yearwood.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. There's something about, I think our eyes or something. I don't really know. Or that people say that. I've probably heard Trisha Yearwood, I would say 10 to 15 times in my life.
Okay. How many times do you think you've heard Daryl Hannah?
That was when I was young, and probably just maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was younger.
That's cool. So I found one of the pictures that I'm going to show you right now. This is the funniest one I ever took. It looks like Meryl Streep and Spike Lee are having dinner together. And you can see that it really does look like them. And that was at MASH in Fort Worth. I remember taking this picture. Oh my gosh,
that is hilarious.
So I just had to share that one before we kind of move on. So, so for me, I've run into people that have like maybe the first name is the same.
Yeah.
I've had a few people that maybe the last name's the same.
Right.
And you're like, how are we related down the road?
Yes.
So, but in today's story, the person we're talking to today has just gone over the top here.
Right. They are both redheads. They both have glasses. They're both 6'4".
Right.
They both have beards, kind of scruffy red beards. They both play major or
minor league baseball.
Yeah. And they both have the same name, not just the first name.
Not just the first name.
The last name too.
Yeah.
Which is an unusual last name. Feigl is the last name. So we got to interview one of the Brady Feigls.
We're not sure which one,
Yeah.
but it was one of them.
We're not sure which one.
Right.
But we hope you enjoy this interview. Super fascinating and honestly just the craziest thing. Enjoy this interview with Brady Feigl. Thank you for taking time to talk to us today. We can't wait to kind of dive into this story. Whenever we've told like our kids or whoever, they're like, "You're going to talk to that guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "The guy that has the doppelganger?" We're like, "Yeah." Like everybody knows about this story.
Right.
It
Yeah.
is absolutely crazy. So what was it like for you growing up? Let's just start at the beginning, playing baseball in Maryland.
I mean, it was my first love. I guess you could say I was born into a baseball family. My dad played JV baseball. My mom played softball. She was actually my very first coach in Little League. And then my brother, who's 4 years older than me, ended up playing it in college. And then I pretty much just followed in his footsteps. Grew up watching the Orioles. I mean, I was born in 1990, but I could remember maybe 97, 98 when they were like decent, and then they just went on an absolute tank and just were awful. But my parents had like season tickets. Our package was like 13 home games. So we would, I grew up just watching the Orioles, play at Camden Yards, which I might be a little biased, but I think that might, probably top 5 stadiums across the league. It's just absolutely beautiful. It was cold, but the start of the seasons were always cold, but I mean, it was always fun. I feel like I just picked it up right away. I was always, my birthday's in December, so I was always, my parents put me in school early, so I was always one of the younger kids, which I think truly helped me kind of mature baseball wise. And I mean, if you think about it, you're playing against older kids always. You're going to fail a lot more. So I learned how to kind of get over failing. Because I mean, baseball is a very tough sport to begin with. And then, you're playing against older kids to begin with. It's going to make it that much harder, which I think, and I played wiffle ball all the time with my brother and his friends. So they give me like an 80-run lead and I'd just be running in circles, running after the ball. But it was just so much fun. And I still thoroughly enjoy it, which I'm still trying to play. I mean, I'm going to be 33 at the end of the year. So, I mean, it's something that I've done a long time. I mean, it's not something that is me, but it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to do it as long as I can.
Yeah. What year was Camden Yards built?
Oh gosh.
Didn't we go there?
It's early 90s, I think.
Right.
I believe 91 or 92.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
We went there like right after it opened, right?
93, 94, I think.
Because do you have a favorite player?
So my favorite player growing up was actually Torrey Hunter. I enjoyed playing the outfield. Yeah, I enjoyed playing the outfield and just running down balls and trying to throw people out. And I thought he was one of the best of his generation.
Yeah. So I still wear number 8 and my email address is Ripken. So that is my all-time favorite player for sure.
Yeah.
We've coached a lot of baseball together and I actually love coaching Little League. I actually have never really played softball. I played some basketball, but not a lot of softball in high school. But we have 3 boys. So softball is so weird to me now. It's like all we ever do is play baseball.
So what was it like, your mom coaching? What was that like? Because we've had Rebecca has always coached our guys. So,
I mean, she's so like into the game. She knows all the rules. I mean, when I was in high school and college, she would actually keep a scorebook every time I was playing. So I could actually honestly, I think she still has those scorebooks. So I could honestly probably go back and look at like when I pitched and how I did.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just fun. I mean, she's very knowledgeable about the game. She always harps on the Orioles used to be good when they had a very good farm system and had homegrown guys, and then brought them up that way. And since they kind of gotten away from that, obviously you can see that have not been very good the last couple of years. But I think last year they finally started to turn the page, and they have one of the best farm systems again. And I mean, pretty much just to her proof of her thought was, I mean, they have a very good talent in their farm system, and they're starting to bring up those guys. And they actually kind of surprised a lot of people last year. So I think I don't think they're going to surprise as many people this year, because everyone knows, they're kind of starting to turn around. And I think the AL East is one of the hardest divisions across all of sports, with the Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, and Blue Jays. So they're all very competitive. So they kind of need to step it up, because they haven't had a whole lot of fans at their games and everything. I mean, like I said, I grew up watching them. It's just, I've seen some empty stands, and I'm like, this is a professional team.
Yeah, that can be pretty depressing when it's supposed to be a major league team. Sure. Yeah.
I feel like I will have lunch with your mom someday. Your mom's not well. I love coaching Little League, and I feel like for me, I always have to I have to squat for a pitcher. We coach like 12 youth, so they're not really tiny, but once I can squat for a pitcher, I can get the dads on board, and then they can be like, okay, she'll be okay, but always at first they're like, why do we have this female coach out here doing this? But yes, so we have to earn our little spot on the field, and then we get the respect.
Women are starting to make strides in MLB. I mean, you have she had general manager for the Marlins, and then there's a couple coaches out there. So I mean, girls can coach too.
That's right.
Well, Olivia Chapman know the game too. She's playing on a college team.
Pitcher,
So it's coming around. So that's cool.
Absolutely. I mean, there are some differences between softball and baseball, but I mean, for the most part, we all move the same way and get into the same kind of positions: fielding, hitting, pitching. Well, pitching obviously not, but there's really not too big of a difference.
Yeah, except those third basemen play inside the baseline. He's passed a little bit shorter, and that ball's really close. So there's that.
Yeah, I would probably say right-handed hitters in softball, because you have the little slappers, but
there's just no way I'd play over there in that corner.
You've been playing baseball all your life. So what's the best thing about being on a baseball team? What keeps you coming back and wanting to play?
Honestly, probably just the teammates, the camaraderie that you build with guys. I've been fortunate enough to be with the Rangers, Braves, and Padres. And along the way, I mean, you cross so many people's paths, whether it's an opponent or teammates, and they're all constantly moving. So it's just building pretty much lifelong friendships, and it's just it's an awesome competitive within a sport that's very individualized. So I mean, when you're in the minor leagues and everything, you can get stuck on kind of just being like, you have to focus on yourself, because if you start worrying about other people, then you're going to go absolutely crazy. Because there's a lot of politics involved. It's just like any other business. But it's, if you're a top draft pick, obviously you're going to get more opportunities. But it's just, I mean, if you're good enough, you'll be found, and teams will give you opportunities. I was very fortunate enough to be with the Braves as my first team, and they were very like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Just like if you performed, you were going to get chances. And I've seen a lot of teams where guys have gotten opportunities where I don't think they deserved it as much. But like I said, I mean, there's the politics involved and everything, and you just got to kind of worry about yourself. But back to like teammates and stuff, you want to strive and be like other guys and kind of push other guys to kind of like be better. You're always like kind of learning different pitches from other guys and like how they hold the ball a little differently. Yu Darvish is actually one of the more interesting stories I heard when I was with the Padres. He would actually go around spring training and kind of like watch guys play catch and like ask them how they threw those certain pitches. And then, he has like 7 or 8 pitches in his repertoire, which is
Yeah.
amazing. I don't know how the catcher calls them, but it's just it's an awesome thing to see someone who's so established and very successful still trying new things
Yeah.
to like improve his game. I mean, it's hard to get there. I mean, obviously I've never been to the big leagues, but I've heard many times it's hard to get there, but it's even harder to stay because you have to do your homework, you have to study tape, especially if you're a starting pitcher or whatever, you have to know the lineups.
Mhm.
But it's awesome to see guys. I've seen a lot of younger guys actually kind of improve and kind of go through the system and everything, and they could have been in like high A that year, and then 2 years later they're in AAA or the big leagues, and it's like, oh, like I played with that guy, like that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
and you come across a lot of really cool people, fun people, and it's just, I mean, you got guys from the Dominican, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, over in Japan. Like it's an awesome outlet for, obviously baseball isn't going to last forever, but
Mhm.
it's an awesome outlet for, keeping up with guys. And it's a worldwide country. Obviously, the World Baseball Classic going on right now,
Yeah.
which is absolutely awesome. I think it's an awesome way to grow the game and kind of get kids back into it and everything, which I think has kind of fallen off a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's really important to kind of get the kids back in the game and
Yeah.
loving baseball.
Yeah. Absolutely. We have a friend of ours whose son's a pitcher, and he spent a lot of time in the minor league, and then had Matt Thompson,
Yeah.
and then got
Zach Thompson.
Zach. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt's his brother.
Yeah.
He just kind of what you're saying, like just that push and push and push, and then now he's playing with Toronto now, and the team he was with before then, just like not quite gelling with those players, but just really feels like he's found a home, and those connection with those guys and how important all that is. And I mean, you just never know where your paths are going to cross and where that's going to take you. It's just a woven story, so that's pretty cool. We had 2 minor leaguers live with us last summer.
Yeah.
That we have the Cleveland Railroaders right down the street from us, and we have our boys are all grown and gone, so we've got some empty rooms in our house. So we were like, well, sure, we'll host a couple, and they were hilarious. Of course, y'all, that schedule. I mean, how many games did they play?
They played 100 games in 110 days, I think.
Was insane. Their schedule was insane, but when we could catch them, they'd tell us the funniest stories and what's going on in the clubhouse and, all the crazy stuff. And so what about you? You got some funny stories in there that you've had found in the clubhouse?
I was trying to think about that. I feel like there have been so many that it's hard to like nail any of them down. But I think one of the funnier ones, obviously the bus trips are very long.
Yeah.
I don't remember where we were. I think I was in high A with, I think, maybe Lynchburg. And I remember dead of the summer, our AC goes out. And I mean, you got guys absolutely sweating on this bus. Everyone's shirtless. Some people are in boxers, and it's just like, you like look around, you look up and down the bus, you're like, what is happening? Like, we got the vents on the top of the bus open, like anything we can do to get some airflow.
Oh,
and it was just absolutely miserable. But I mean, like you look back at it, and you just it helps you like appreciate the little things. I played indie ball this past year, where honestly, a lot of things it's kind of like the bare minimum. So like anytime I tell guys like that are still playing like in affiliated ball, I'm like, hey, don't take things for granted. Like keep busting your butt because you don't want to be on the outside trying to get a job back in there because it's especially right now it's tough.
Yeah.
But and I guess the other one was I know we were in low A and obviously our bus broke down. We actually took a city bus. We took a city bus back to our hotel, which was actually hilarious. Like just open windows, you got the poles in the middle where you got some guys standing up holding on to them, and we're just like, wait, we're riding back in that thing.
You had clothes on this time, right? On the city bus.
Yeah,
we're in your box.
Yeah, it was very cool, very chill in the bus, but it just like the things you do, it's absolutely wild. But it's just a good time, especially like when you have a good group of guys and you just kind of all mesh well together, and it's just a good time. And I'm sure those guys are very happy to kind of very appreciative of you guys being able to host them. I had a awesome host family that I'm still in touch with when I had in Lynchburg. It's just like it's an awesome way to again like connect with people.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, we're playing a game and we're getting paid to do it. Like
Right.
you can't be that serious. I mean, there are times where you have to be, but it's
Mhm.
like, we're playing a kid's game, just having fun. Like,
Right.
and that's how it should be.
Yeah. It's the best
Too
way.
many times I've seen too many guys. I've seen too many guys just get so frustrated. It's like, dude,
Mhm.
take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
baseball is a hard game. You can't you can't get too mad. Like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
gonna be tomorrow, and it all depends on how you deal with failure.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of broken down buses.
Our guys had several
Yeah.
bus stories.
There are.
They were hitching rides
It
in the back
happens a
of
lot.
pickup trucks up and down the road because their bus was. I mean, they were like in Nebraska, somewhere in like
Yeah.
the middle of
I think it's the
nowhere.
middle of Missouri. They
Yeah.
on the way. Yeah.
They were hopping in the
Crazy.
back of people's pickup trucks, riding up and down the interstate, trying to find
Yep.
where their bus was. I mean, it was.
Didn't know if the guy that picked him up was a serial
Yeah,
killer.
he said he got in the back of the truck
Yeah.
and the guy in front was like just a little sketchy, but there was he had some tools back there. So our guy just reached over and like grabbed a wrench and just kind of held it close to him,
Just
you
to
know,
make sure,
just to
just in
make
case.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, hilarious
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
story.
especially today, you never know.
You
There's
never
yeah,
know.
there's no way. Okay, so we mentioned you have a doppelganger. This is like the craziest story.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2015 you had elbow surgery, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is when you found out about the doppelganger. So what happened after your surgery, I think, that you realized this was going on? That there's someone else out there. There's another Brady.
So I kind of knew about it a little bit before.
Okay.
So 2014. So 2014 was my first year. I think in late 2013, maybe early 2014, I had a friend who was working for baseball factory, which is like a company that helps you kind of get recruited for colleges and everything. So they help you kind of make a video and everything. And he sent me a screenshot of an Excel spreadsheet, and he highlighted Brady Feigl, and it said from Missouri, like right-handed. And I was like, huh, that's wild. And then my first like experience with it was we were in Winston-Salem in high A, and I had a couple like card sharks like, hey, can you sign some cards? And I'm like, okay, like I know I don't have a card. This is my first year in pro ball.
Yeah.
He had a perfect game card. And I was like, what the heck is that? Like, he has a card before I do. And they're like, well, I was like, well, that's not me. Like, he's right-handed, I'm left-handed. And he was like, well, can you still sign it? And I was like, no, like that's not me. That's not my card. Like, I'm not allowed to sign his card. So that was like kind of my first taste. And then actually I had Tommy John surgery through Dr. Andrews, which he also did. He had his, I don't know how far ahead he had his before mine, but when I showed up, they pulled his file, which I didn't know he had surgery through him at that point. So when I showed up, they had his file, and I was like, no. They're like, didn't we right arm? I was like, no. That's the other one.
And that's why they ask that
I was
question
just like,
before you have surgery, always.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
Please
always
do the
like,
surgery on the correct arm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and they either do like an X or like a check mark or like yes or no. Like
Yeah.
they do a pretty good job of determining which arm is they're going to perform the surgery on. So I was just like, hopefully when I wake up, it's my left arm that's been done. So that was pretty wild. I was just like, please just do the correct arm.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise I'd be like, what'd you do while you were in there? Because that arm was fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now I have two bad arms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My other arm's
Yeah.
So not only do you both have red hair, you both have glasses,
Mhm.
you both have the same name.
Exactly
Not
the
just
same name. Yeah.
Brady, but the last name Feigl, which is spelled
Yeah.
odd. What in the world? What is that like to all of a sudden realize? It's one thing to there's people that were like, oh, you kind of look like them, but no, you have so much like. Is that just so weird?
It is a little strange. Like I've always talked to people. I'm like, to begin with, I feel like Brady is not a very common name to begin with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just, I think I knew one other one growing up, and I think I've kind of come across a few others. But I was actually named after Brady Anderson, who played for the Orioles.
Yeah.
You know, my parents being big baseball fans. And then my mom actually wanted to name me my middle name Scott after Scott McGregor, but my dad put a stop to that, and I thank him very much for that. But yeah, it's just and just like Feigl, I didn't know of any other Feigls in the country besides, you know, my family. And I knew Feigl came from Germany through Ellis Island up in New York. There's like documentation, which was pretty cool to find out as well. But just the fact that there's, you know, just another like set of Feigls alone is very interesting. But just him having the same name like Brady Feigl is very, very weird and very odd. But I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, not many people, you know, everyone always says like there's another person like you out there.
Yeah.
But just to actually, I guess, physically know the person and
look
like
at
actually share the same name, it's
Yeah.
very, very, very interesting. I've been trying to figure out the proper word for it, but it's wild. No,
it never happened, so there's not a word for this.
Yeah,
You're also
it's
both
something you
6'4",
cannot explain.
right? You're both 6'4", so you're
Yeah.
same level. Like you're looking, I mean, just cannot even imagine, like looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
So finally,
he's
ahead.
like 240, so I'm like 200, he's 240, so like you can tell like when we're right next to each other, like
Yeah.
he's definitely a little bit bigger than me, which I wish I was like 240. That'd be awesome, but trying to put on weight, it just doesn't happen.
It's good as you get older to have trouble putting on weight.
Yeah, that's a good thing eventually.
I know my wife is very jealous of me.
Yeah,
so I can just eat and eat and it goes nowhere, so
yeah. Be careful the company you say that in.
Okay, so y'all finally meet. The Brady and Brady meet. You meet Brady. Brady Feigl meets Brady Feigl. It's still crazy. So, what was it like meeting him for the first time face to face? Because you end up doing a DNA test. So, what was it like interacting with him finally?
When we first met these two minor league pitchers, we were amazed by their similarities.
We're both 6'4".
We're both 6'4".
Red hair.
The red hair, the red beard.
Bushy, gingy beard.
The glasses.
Both wear glasses.
Most amazing of all, they even share the same name, Brady Feigl.
Outside of my family, I didn't think there were any Feigls.
After their story first aired on Inside Edition last November, we got a lot of reaction, and almost everyone suspected the same thing. They had to be related, maybe even long-lost twins separated at birth.
Are we twins? We're about to find out.
We arranged for a DNA test.
All right, I got these two things, and I'm spitting into this.
Yeah, so that's a little tube that I get to spit into, I guess.
You know, there's so many similarities. I gotta say, somewhere way back down the line, it'll be cool just to see where I come from more than anything. All right, we're all sealed up. Time to find out if we're related or not.
I'm gonna put it in the collection bag. We're gonna seal it up, and it's gonna be that.
Now it's time to come together for the results. At first, they were stunned.
It says I'm 53% Germanic Europe.
Stop.
Are you?
No.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, mine's 53.
If they were actually identical twins, all the rest of their numbers would match exactly.
What about Ireland and Scotland? That goes with the red hair, huh?
I got 2%.
I got 10.
Are you Italian at all?
No Italian.
Oh, well, I got 4% of that.
Our Brady Feigls find that they're not brothers or even related. So what we seem to have is a very bizarre coincidence of two total strangers who look alike and happen to share the same name and occupation. What are the odds?
We're still brothers in a way, I guess, you know.
And we're always going to be Brady Feigl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was almost like it was forced a little bit, just because, you know, Inside Edition did that piece on us. So it's just like it kind of felt a little awkward. You know, cameras around, you can't really like truly be yourself at times. But I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, like, he seemed like a nice kid. Obviously, he's a couple years younger than me, and everything. So, but I mean, I thought it was really cool. It wasn't like the the Spider-Man meme where they're like all pointing at each other, like because I mean, like we do both have red hair, we wear glasses, like red beard and stuff like that. But like you can tell the differences between us when we're kind of like side by side and like kind of standing next to each other. But I guess the other thing that's kind of wild is like that we're both professional baseball players. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that I think that might be the craziest thing out of it all is that we both have the same profession,
Right.
and strive for the same dream and everything.
Yeah, that's so
Of
great.
all the things that we could be doing, we both
You're both
are playing baseball.
And so you guys took a DNA test and
No relation.
no
right?
relation.
Mm-mm.
No
No,
relation.
it said that we were. Yeah, it said that we were both like 53% Germanic Europe,
Yeah.
which just basically FIEGL came from Germany, which I kind of knew about.
But nothing else.
I don't remember the other like kind of similarities that we had, but we might have had a few. But like I'm like a tiny bit Irish, I think a little bit like Polish, but it was basically just saying that like FIEGL came from Germany. But outside of that, it's we had no relation, which I was kind of. I mean, I'm not surprised about because I would have been like, Mom, hey, you got something to explain here? Like, what happened?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, outside of that, it was just pretty much
Yeah.
we had the same name, kind of look similar, but
Yeah.
no
What did
relation.
your parents and your wife think about that? Were they equally blown away?
So my wife actually was able to come with me. Inside Edition flew us out to Cedar Rapids. So I was with Round Rock, I believe, at the time, and we were out of playoffs. And everyone was always trying to get us together, and it's hard to do with the baseball season, obviously. So since my season was done and they were in the playoffs, they're like, well, why don't you fly out here? Which I was like, cool. And then I met some of the players. I think they interviewed some of his teammates and everything. And they're like, well, how's it feel to like meet the other one and stuff like that? But my mom has always said, she was like, you need to reach out to them, like, see how they're doing and kind of like meet up, stay in touch and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so hard to do, especially during the season, because I mean, you're focused on, trying to get better and playing and stuff. And then my wife was actually like, I think during the piece, she was like, justice for redheads, to like say, we don't all look alike. We're not all the same person. We're our own being. And it's kind of funny because it's like, when you think about it, they say like, redhead is a recessive gene, but I swear I see more and more every day. I don't know if it's just like, I'm looking out for it. But I feel like I see more and more redheads, which is awesome because we need them. We need more. I mean, my parents are pretty cool with it. They're always just like, you need to reach out to them, stay in touch. But unfortunately, we haven't as much. There was like a second kind of go around. I had MLB Network reach out. I had someone from England, Australia. There's a German-based company in New York. They were all reaching out like, hey, we want to do these interviews and stuff. So I kind of shot him a text and just to see like if he was interested in everything. But but yeah, it's just a wild thing. Like you can't make it up. And it's just one of those things that's unexplainable. But I think it's really cool. I mean, like you said, it's going to follow me for probably forever. It's going to be one of those things where it's like until there's another two guys in a sport where they're the same person and they kind of look similar and have the same name.
So the cool thing for you is that the color of your hair is actually like the newest fashion trend. I'm a hairdresser. Every third person sitting in my chair wants this hair color. Yeah. It's the strawberry red warm hair color. So if you're going to see a lot more, you're really going to start seeing a lot more now. So there's good news for you. Might not be natural, but it is very much an up and coming trend. So what?
It's a good hair color.
It's a great hair color. Yeah, it's a great hair color. It's very unique. So what have you learned like through this whole cool story of yours? Any takeaways for you?
I guess it's just I'm amazed at kind of how many people. So I work out at Christie Sports Performance down here in Jupiter, Florida, and I've had a wide range of, former big leaguers, and like anywhere from kids that are like 13, 14, 15 years old. And they're like, "Are you that Brady Feigl guy?" And I'm like, you know who I am?"
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I actually, funny story. I actually, when my wife and I were getting married, we had to get our marriage license up in Pennsylvania. She still doesn't believe me, but I swear. I went into the building, and you got to get through the metal detector. As I'm going through the metal detector, I think this was like right when the first story came out. There's two officers standing there, and they're like, "You look like that guy who plays baseball and has another one that is name like have the same name." And I was like,
Yeah.
"No way." And I swear they were. I was like, "Yeah, that's me." Like, and I was like, "Where's?" I was like, "Where do I go now for like marriage license?" I was like, "Oh, you're in divorce. That building's across the street." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Oh, that's
Wrong
hilarious.
building.
That was like my first taste of like people actually kind of know
Yeah.
who I am a little bit, which was very, very wild. I mean, I keep saying the word wild. It's just there's no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
But it's been really it's a cool experience.
Yeah. On a very,
Not many people have the opportunity to do this.
yeah, for sure. On a very small scale, we can mildly relate. We got married on a softball field at home plate, and we
Okay.
were in the paper, and this is 1992, so there's not like internet happening and stuff. But we took off on our honeymoon driving up 287. We were in Colorado. We were almost in Colorado, or
We were in the panhandle of Texas.
maybe
like
Amarillo or something like that. And we went in and got something at a gas station. And they were like, "Are you the couple that got married on a softball field?" I mean, that's our only claim to fame
that's our
ever. And we're like, "Yeah, you saw that." And we were like 5 hours from home, so big deal for us. Not as near as big.
It's awesome.
For sure.
So baseball season is upon us. So I know you just got done working out. We were working around your training schedule. So tell us about your training. You're a pitcher. Kind of walk us through how you train, and then what are you looking to do this season, and where do you see yourself going, like in the next few years or so?
So I'm still trying to find a job. I would like to go down to Mexico. I know a couple of guys that are down there right now, actually. I was fortunate enough to play in the Dominican Republic in 2019, which was an awesome experience. I'm just pretty much going around like anywhere between like 9 and 10 o'clock. Kind of stretch, roll out, and then have bullpens every Tuesday and Friday. At some point, we're going to start filming them and then do like live BPs, face some hitters, get some film, and then send that out to some teams to see if they're interested. Pretty much do that 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta stay on top of it. I know there's a lot of kids that think they can kind of just get by with doing the bare minimum, but especially once you get into pro ball and everything, you got 100 guys that are either ahead of you or underneath you that are all competing for spots, and you just gotta keep grinding and just trying to stay ahead of everyone. Anytime you kind of slack off, you'll miss out, and it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I'm former big leaguers that are still trying to get back in the game that haven't been able to, and it's a tough game.
It is.
But I mean, like I said, I absolutely love the sport. I think maybe at some point I might start coaching. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. But I think I'll be around baseball for a while. I thoroughly enjoy the sport. I think it's an awesome way to just meet new people and kind of experience things. Get to go across the country and just play at these different stadiums and come across awesome people, whether it's fans or host families, other players, coaches. Anywhere you are, there's always someone watching. And that's one of the most important things. Like when guys kind of struggle a little bit on the field and they kind of show it, it's like, hey, they kind of calm it down. I mean, there's 30 29 other teams that are watching you guys, and then you got teams in Japan that are looking, Taiwan, Dominican,
Yeah.
Mexico. I mean, there's always someone watching. You could be training too, and everyone, there's a big like baseball community out there where guys are always looking for players and everything. So it's I mean, it's just awesome. I just absolutely love baseball, and it's just an awesome network for everyone.
Brady, have you heard of the Savannah Bananas? Have you heard of Banana Ball?
I have. I have.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm too much of a fan, just because I'm very old school. I like
it is
boring old baseball.
Yeah.
But it does look entertaining. I was fortunate enough to play at Savannah before they were the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
The Savannah Sandnets, I believe they were. That field is very hot.
Oh, is it?
It is very hot. It is very hot down there in the summer.
Sultry Savannah.
It is.
Well, and just something you mentioned when you were talking about scouts and stuff, I think they want to see, and like talking to younger players, they want to see when you struggle, and they want to see how you react to that. Like, do you implode, or do you regroup and get the job done? So I think it's important once you failed, or once something's gone wrong, that you show you can rebound from that. So that's a good word.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the biggest thing. Everyone is always on a high when everything's going well. They want to know how you handle failure, kind of struggles.
Yeah.
And it's very important to kind of stay even keel, even if you're doing well. Like you got to know somewhere down the line it's going to bite you in the butt. And like, I mean, that's the cool thing about baseball. Like you could make a really good pitch, and someone could get put a good swing on it and they get a base hit, or you can make a really bad pitch and someone hits an absolute missile right at someone. Like it's a game that is very give and take. And I just enjoy. I mean, and there's when you show up to the ballpark, there's a very good chance that you'll see something that you haven't seen before. And I mean, the game's been around for a while, so it's just it's awesome. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy watching. Especially this World Baseball Classic, and just seeing how passionate all these teams are, and the fans and everything. Especially down in Miami with the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans. I mean, they are so passionate about the game. I love their I just love how they're always in it. It's absolutely
every
awesome
pitch.
to
They're
watch.
excited about every pitch. Yeah, that's
I
pretty.
mean, they are in it from pitch 1 to the last out in the 9th inning. I mean, it could be a 7-1 game, and they still think they're in it. Like that's their mentality, which I appreciate. It is very awesome to watch. It's a very cool experience.
Yeah, Scott was just talking about that. We were watching what were Israel and Nicaragua, I think. Yeah, just so interesting and fascinating. So, well, Brady, thank you so much.
I mean, you got.
Go ahead.
Sorry, you have the team from Czech Republic who are like, they all have actual daytime jobs.
And
they're like kind of taking off to like play it. So I mean, that's the cool thing about baseball is you just have all these different people in general that are just playing this game. I mean, I guess besides soccer, there's no other sport like it.
That's right.
And it's just it's the best. I mean, it's just, I'm biased. That's my take on baseball.
I wasn't telling you about that. Actually, our son's best friend Brady was telling you about that. His name is Brady. Yeah, that's so funny.
His last name's Feigl.
No, it's not. There can't be 3 of you.
I don't think so.
Well, Brady, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. We are big fans of yours, and we just wish you the best of luck. Hope to get to see you somewhere down the road. You always have a room at this house in Texas if you ever get back this way and you need a host home. We're veteran host homers.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so what would you do if you found out there was a Jeffrey Scott Hardy out there with a lot of your characteristics? Maybe he's a graphic artist, maybe he has 3 sons.
Right.
Would you let's go meet him now? Or would you let's have a phone call? Or would you I'm going to ignore the situation?
Well, I think, and it's kind of like Brady talked about, I would like to do he had to do it with cameras there.
Right.
And he was talking about how awkward that was.
Yeah.
I would love to you would Facebook message this person or Instagram message them and say, hey, there's a lot of similarities here.
Yeah.
And kind of talk to them that way before you meet them
All right.
in person, but maybe set up a Zoom call
Mhm.
or maybe a FaceTime and just see what's going on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would do. Would you ignore it or would you? I can't imagine you ignoring anything.
I would be like, hello, let's have coffee right now.
Right
I'm
now.
flying to you wherever you are. Let's have coffee because that is so crazy.
I think I would be a little slower with it.
You would be.
I would ease into the relationship and
Yeah.
you would be on the next plane out.
Right. That's
Right.
exactly
Yeah.
what I would do. Well, I mean, hopefully, well, I don't know. Do you hope that ever happens? I was going to say, hopefully.
It'd be kind of cool, actually. It'd be interesting.
Listen, all of our listeners, you be on the lookout for lookalikes of us, and
Right,
you
just
let
let
us
us
know.
know.
You just let us know, and we'll handle it in the way each of us would see fit.
There you go.
Which is 2 totally different ways.
Right.
We hope you enjoyed this interview with Brady Feigl. Party 5.5 over and out.
We'll see you next time.